because Matt knows what I'm talking about. Matt Vick, that is. And I just got a phone call from somebody in the area. He used to own a junk removal company. I think he owned it for like 5 years. He had, 4 or 5 trucks and everything. And it was just a random phone call out of nowhere. I answered the call and I actually thought it was like a client calling for a job. So I'm trying to figure out who it is as I'm on the phone. And, they're acting like they know me and all. And then I realized, after a minute or two, and I'm like, yeah, so what can I do for you, brother? And all. And he's like, oh, I used to have a junk removal in the area. He's like, I seen your pictures everywhere, your signs all over town and all that. And he's like, I just wanted to talk to you. He's like, I wanted to see maybe you'd be interested in buying some of my trucks or whatever. And what's your plans in junk removal? So I started kind of like telling him how I'm new and 3-4 months in and everything. So he started like kind of like schooling me, like he was gonna son me. And I'm just like, yo, whoa, bro. I love the tips and all that, but I also know how to run business and all that. So he started telling me that there's no way to make this scalable. And, so I started asking him questions. I'm curious. And I'm like, what happened with your business? You had 5 trucks, why would you just shut down? And why do you still have the 5 trucks? Why wouldn't you at least sell those or whatever? So he just keeps telling me, he's like, he goes, it's not a scalable business. So I'm like, well, that's not true. Well, if you look at 1-800-JUNK, you look at Junk Kings, obviously it's scalable. Those guys are going across the nation and all that. So I wanted to ask you guys, how come some people will swear to you that it's not scalable, and this guy being one of them. Also guys like the guy, Ricky, Ricardo, I think he's with one of those junk kings in Texas or something, what I mean? So why do these guys like swear that you can't scale this, that it's just, it's not a scalable business? And the reason why he was saying also was that there's no skill in it.
Because they're saying they can't.
So it's just a personal problem. You believe it's a personal problem they're having?
There's people in his neighborhood that are crushing it.
Yeah,
Matt, them, Matt and JoJo. So maybe you could fill us in a little, because you were around when they were around. I didn't see the trucks out going around, but I was at his property today and I seen the 5 trucks. So now I know it's a true story because he has 5 1-800-JUNK trucks sitting on his property and all.
Well, I would say Matt can he'll probably like agree with me, but as soon as he started with 5 trucks. Like he started and the bunch of trucks were just sitting there. So, he didn't grow as his market grew. He started super big. He had a huge land. And then he ended up with some dumpsters, but he started off with like 5 trucks. And to me, that's just kind of overkill. Like when you first start this business, you're not ready for 5 trucks.
No, you're not ready for 2 trucks. I mean, I'm right there right now. I have the 1 truck and all. And there's no way if you had 5 trucks and then if you're paying payments on them, oh, Maron, there's no way you're gonna win. So yeah, so I guess there's more to the story than that I need to. But he seemed to forget to leave that part out. So
because once the business gets bigger, the profit margins get smaller, and the only way you can justify small profit margins is when it's a $6 million company. So he's starting out with those infant profit margins with no sales. Like he's just chasing, like he's just underwater the whole time. I imagine he was probably stressed out the whole fucking time he was in business.
Yeah, if you got 5 trucks, you got to be stressed. And there's no way you keep them busy.
There's no happy days. Even his best days, like, oh God, now I'm only 50 grand behind.
Yeah. And what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to scaling is it's all about evolving. What got you here will not get you there. If you're not continuously learning, growing yourself, developing yourself, you're not going to be able to scale because your ego gets in the way and it blocks you from learning more because you think you know everything already. So what got you here will not get you there. You have to evolve. Otherwise you're just going to be stuck in the same place. And I think that's probably one of the reasons like Ricardo is not growing, because his mindset is I'm the best and that's it. There's no evolution there. You have to continue to learn. You have to continue to grow yourself if you want to grow your business.
You definitely have to have a growth mindset. You can't walk around thinking you know everything, because everything is constantly changing. And look at technology, look at AI, like all these, everything changes. So if you have a growth mindset and you're able to like listen and understand that other ways of doing things are valid and might work better for you, instead of walking around with I know it all, having a fixed mindset, not willing to listen to other people, and just thinking that other people are all doing it wrong and everyone's a crook because they're wanting to coach you or something. It's like, I don't know, it's not our mindset, that's for sure.
Yeah, I got it. Sorry,
Go ahead.
No, Matt, you take this, bro.
No, I was just going to say, you got to really be curious about it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really want to explore new things. Like you were saying, Joni, is, having that growth mindset is being comfortable with the unknown, because there's a lot of unknowns. And as soon as you think you got it right, AI changes the whole industry, or COVID flips everything upside down, or whatever's going to happen 5 years from now that we aren't expecting, And so, like you said, being able to be flexible with our businesses and learn from people, whether they're older or younger than us. You know what I mean? Like, younger people show me stuff all the time. I've got mentors older than me that I learned from. I talked with my farrier, the guy that cuts the horse feet. We talked for almost an hour yesterday, just like shooting shit, just about like, stuff. And it's those kinds of things that we gotta be doing to take our businesses to the next level.
I agree with that. And what I want to bring up about Ricky, I call him Ricky, but Ricardo is what I'm referring to. We're talking about Junk Police. Did you guys get to see that? He made a video talking. I did an interview with the Junk Police, with Nick Police and Richie Brown out of New Jersey. And they were saying how, they drop about, I think it's like $160K a year on Google Ads. And also, Ricky, he didn't like that. And he made a video saying, these kids don't know what they're doing and they're just paying Google. And I was really, really impressed with Nick's response. He made this well thought out video. He showed the facts. He showed the numbers. He showed everything. He went through his whole formula and system. And I was just like, wow, this kid's got his head on right. He knows what he's doing. He's tracking his numbers like daily. He's really on top of it. So I was really impressed. But, according to Ricky, that's just the stupidest thing you could possibly do. But what I wanted to explain to everybody, and I kind of feel like I figured out Ricky's place in junk removal. And, I mean no disrespect when I say this to Ricky. Like, I'm not trying to be like make fun of him in any kind of way. But you guys all know that the crackhead in town that comes in and undercuts your job and gives like, I'll pull it away for like $45 right now. And, we all curse this guy. We're like, yo, there's of the guy, but you never see the face, but you're like, oh, the crackhead came in town. Well, Ricky is doing us all a favor. He is just showing us he's that guy. He brags about that. He comes, I'm going to undercut everybody. I'm going to do 15 jobs and make the same money you did on 3 jobs. And I'm going to talk shit to you as I do it. You know what I mean? So he's really doing us the favor because now we got a face. We're like, all right, we finally know who the guy is undercutting us. So now you know how to deal with him. So when we watch the videos, like I just seen a video today with Ricky and he was doing a hot tub removal and he just takes the cover of the jacuzzi and he just slams that into their table right there. And he had no disregard. And this is the video he puts up there. And this is what he thinks is a good video to put up there. So it's just showing you that's the level of customer service you're getting when you're getting Ricky. So when you feel happy that he's taking away things at $100, everybody else is at $300-400. That's what you're getting. And you're going to get those answers when he scratches your floor and he looks at you like, no, you owe me for that. That's you. So he is really doing us a favor, guys, because I know he does push a lot of buttons and everything, but this is a real character in everybody's town that we go against every day to competition. So now you guys know what to expect. And we get to see daily videos of him doing it. Am I right or am I wrong with that? I could be completely off with that.
No comment.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. No comment.
Well, hey, I got a comment.
It's the whole, like, if I knew what he's doing, then my eyes are off my business. So I just keep looking forward.
I gotta admit, I appreciate the videos. I think they're entertaining. I love it when me and my girl, we look forward to hearing the new video today because he always has me either my mouth dropped like I can't believe he just did that to a customer, or like holy shit, like he's making me feel bad for him, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a nice guy. And then the next day he turns into Satan again. So it's like you go, it's a love hate relationship with him. But Dave, I want to hear from you, brother. You said you had a comment on that.
No, yeah. I just think it's interesting, right? Because you said it. You're like, you watch him every day. So I feel like, and you said it, he's a character and he's learned how to get eyeballs on his channel and on his business, whether you like it or not. Like, I wouldn't run a business like that, but he knows how to get eyeballs on it. I've watched his videos and I'm like you, dude. I'm like, I can't believe he does that. But somehow or another, he's made it, he's made it work for however long he's been in the game. And people pay him as a consultant, and it's like, more power to him, man. That's how I look at it. But I just think he's a character, right? And he's made it work for him. So it is what it is.
And I want to say this. When I say this, just like I said, I don't mean disrespect, but I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to say how it is, bro. He reminds me of a New York guy, bro. They don't care. We'll hurt feelings, but I respect that more than a fake person that's going to smile to my face and talk shit behind my back. At least you know where you stand with Ricky. Ricky's going to tell you, if you don't like it, you don't like it. You're going to know right away. He doesn't care about hurting feelings. So, like, it's not like I don't like the guy. I just, he's straight up, and I'm going to be straight back, and I'm going to call a spade when I see it. And I like when he stirs people up, man, and I see what he's doing. Sometimes, I don't know if it's true, but he says that his Facebook is hooked up to his website. So when he sets people off with these comments, knowing that everybody's going to comment, he's getting all these views to the website. I don't know if that's possible, but when he explained that one day, I was like, oh, that's a genius right there, bro. Like, I like that move.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy.
Right. So, Mr. Yee, what's your thoughts on that, man? Because you're a social media savvy kind of guy, man. What's your thoughts on Ricky?
Ricardo, he's probably watching now, or he's gonna watch tomorrow. He's gonna watch later. How you doing? But to me, I watch the videos every day. Also, I tell a lot of people I watch a lot of YouTube every day. If it's not you, it's him, it's her, it's that, it's the cat, whatever. I watch it all because it's just what I do. But he does have a freedom of his speech, whatever he wants to say. He does have a lot to say, and he does have a lot to say about California because I see him say certain words where you can't say that over here. It would be a straight issue. And some of us been in some situations where you can't talk like that. It's smash on sight. But I think Ricardo, far as the like he says, I do 45 pickups, $45. To me, that's a lot of running around, wasting time, wasting gas. But I think the guy should start a podcast. I think he likes to talk a lot. I like to talk, but I think he likes to talk a lot. I mean, a lot. I think he's maybe, if he's watching now, a podcast of your own. You don't even need nobody. Just keep on talking and just talk and talk. And there's going to be people listening because obviously people are reaching out to him and asking for his advice. And you know what I mean? He's saying people make these numbers, people are doing this. And there's always an audience. There's always an audience. So I just think that I think a lot of people can say, you know, I'll hit the nail on the I'll hit the hammer on the nail. A lot of people could say, I'm not going to be doing that when I'm doing 18 years. I'm gonna be somewhere else. I'm gonna be doing something else. I'm not gonna. Why am I being behind the wheel? He might have the passion for that. That's why he's still behind the wheel, and that's him. But I think everybody thinks differently. But I think that he's should start a podcast and like he can get so much other people together and just ramble and ramble and ramble and talk, and there's an audience for it, and maybe that's what he should get into. But far as you know, if you say a lot of people are scared to say his name because if you say his name, you're afraid. It's like Freddy Krueger. You say his name, he's gonna
Yeah.
appear. And you know, hey, the Freddy Krueger of junk removal. Hello, you know what I mean? But you know, it's just a lot of people are afraid to say his name, but then a lot of us still watch his video.
Oh
So
yeah.
are we helping him or are we hurting him?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think we're helping him, man, because any
See,
attention is good attention. He's definitely he
he's
knows how
getting
to stir things
clicks.
up. He's the heel, bro. He's the heel of junk removal. That's what
He's
it
getting
is.
clicks, and you know, there's always going to be low ballers in your area. There's always going to be a cheaper person in your area. It's just something that we got to filter through. But you know, I don't call it competition. Competitors, competitors, competitors are going to make you be more creative,
But
and
Mr.
you're going
Yee
to.
Yee, I like it, bro, because at first I was listening to the rest of the comments and I was kind of getting mad with them. And I started kind of like, why the fuck is he mentioning such low prices? Like he's just stepping on everybody's shit right now. Like, why are you doing that? Then I was like, yo, it hit me the other day. I'm like, no, this is the guy we need to hear from because this is the guy that's going around lowballing all of us, stealing our jobs with, and you're just scratching your head. You're like, bro, I wouldn't even do that. It doesn't even make sense. You're just busting your ass and you're not even getting paid for it. So with that,
all of
I want to.
us all of us have been there at one point where we left meat on the bone, we left meat on the, you know, we left meat on the table, and
Would you do
that's
$45 fridges?
uh nah
Drive in Texas, but mind you, bro, this ain't California. You're driving in Texas. Everything is far. Everything is traffic.
No, but I'll be the first to admit it because a lot of people don't like to admit it. I do have a minimum. I got to get paid. I pay taxes. I just paid my taxes the other day. And I tell you, you know what I mean? You better get your shit right. So I got to have a minimum just to cover my bases. And that's just it. So I try to tell a lot of clients, you know, you can pick me or you can pick them, but you know, I'm a legit business that pays taxes and I got to pay for this, I got to pay for that. And at the end of the day, you know, you're probably paying for illegal dumping or you're just tributing to something else. But you know, I can't just start my vehicle up and go run outside for $45. Now, if you have if you have nine of those uh, logged in and set up, and they're not going to be canceled, and you're picking up nine $45 jobs, and they're within like everything is in your city, no more than 20 minutes away, it can work out. But you're going to be wasting time. You're going to be wasting gas. You're going to be going to the dump a lot. And you
And
know,
you're
not everybody has a
and you're
scrap
and
guy.
you're never
Not
going to be scalable, bro. That's something that you're not going to be able to scale. So here's Bean says this. America Junk Boy says some people like being a one-man band, and it works for some. One thing that's annoying is people think you can succeed without ads, but I've watched franchises fail too. So each to their own. I get it, Bean, but it's one thing to do your own thing and stay in your own lane and not talk shit on everybody else. But it's a different when you got your game plan and your formula that works for you, where it's one-man band. But when you're talking shit on other people that are dropping big money and they're scaling, you can't just say they're wrong because you don't agree with the way they're doing business. Not everybody's going to say, hey guys, I want to get into junk removal so I could work on a truck for the last 18 years and that's going to be what I'm doing. You're buying a 9-to-5 job. That's what you just did. So why didn't you just go work for a union and do that? You know what I mean? That's pretty much what you did there. So if
Here's my
that's what
thought.
you want to do, that's your thing. That's cool, but don't go and talk down on others. When you see young bucks like Nick and Richie from New Jersey, I mean, these dudes are like 21, 22 years old and they got 3-4 trucks running again. They're putting 160K in Google ads and they have a plan. I wouldn't go and discredit them. I'd say, go for it, man. I hope you guys do succeed because then we know everybody can do that,
yeah,
Here's
you
my
know.
thought. At the end of the day, he's winning because we're all sitting here talking about it, right? At the end of the day, he's a master marketer. He's figured out a way to not just make everyone in the industry, but probably in his community as well, talk about him. Now, has he chosen to make it be the most positive? No, but that's his choice at the end of the day. The one thing that we can learn from him and we should be taking notes on is he's creating content constantly. He is posting content constantly, and that has helped grow his brand and his community and his social platform. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I would not go pick up 10 fridges for $45. Scalability wise, it makes no sense. I got 2 guys in the truck, commercial auto, name a million different things, right? It makes no sense for me to do that. But just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean that it can't work for him. I personally have no desire to be on the truck in 10 years. For his business plan, it's what works. And at the end of the day, he's been in the game forever. And again, we're talking about him. So he's won in one aspect or another. So we could take away positives. We could talk about a bunch of negatives. But at the end of the day, he's posting content constantly, and most of us aren't.